Happy Mushoku Mondays, everybody. Welcome back to yet another Trek, the Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation novel series. We are on the final part of the last one to leave the nest. If we don't finish in this part, it's impossible. It's impossible. We're going to finish this out. We're going to finish out this one and then move on to, I don't know what's next. I think it's the Christmas specials, and then I think it could be ODT. We could be possibly finally going ODT. I don't know. I'll check with my folks as usual. I'm not going to make any promises. I know there's a lot of people want me to get in that ODT already, but I wanted to get all this side stuff done. I'm fresh out of the mainline series. I want to get all these side chapters, get all that little juicy tidbits into characters and what happens after the mainline series. And from what I understand, ODT is, I think it's prequel story. So it makes sense to do this now. But yes, as per usual, thank you guys so much for dropping by for the premiere. Hey chat, hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week after Mushoku Monday. And yes, greatly appreciate the VOD watchers as well. They always seem to give me more likes. The VOD watchers are coming up in here and they're hitting that like button. And I really do appreciate it. So you premiere watchers, I'm so mean. I can be mean to the premiere watchers because they're there in the chat with me. So they know that I'm joking for the most part. The VOD watchers, we're making connections elsewhere. But yes, I greatly appreciate you guys' support. And yes, as per usual, I greatly appreciate everybody's support channel monetarily, Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, memberships. Thank you. You guys mean a great deal to me. Last week, we had Orsic Cultist with 26 months. 26 months. Hitting out. Crazy. Royce Moyce with a whole bunch of supers as usual. Thank you for your long time support. And yes, Soundwave with a super. Thank you guys so much. It means a great deal to me. But that all said, before I get into chapter 5, I did want to cover one thing that did click to me when I was doing my editing. And yes, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me as I was reading it. I think it's because I was just having fun with it. It was like this fun little point right here. But at some point, Edward says, Chris often talks about you. She always says that Lord Rudius is an incredible person. The more I heard about you, well, I suppose I ended up feeling a kind of admiration towards you. It says, Edward smiled brightly as he began sharing stories he heard from Chris. Now, let's stop right there and think about this. Typically, with all the children we've really kind of deep dived into so far, Lucy, Otis, Sieg, what would they say? What would those individuals say to somebody else about Rudius? It would typically be, he's strong. He's a hero. He could take down powerful foes. He stopped this massive war. He's literally in the background of every single nation. He's so powerful. He can do anything. He talked about how my eyes sparkled whenever I discussed magic with Roxy. How even though I'm a magician, I never neglected physical training like a swordsman. How on my days off, I lounged by my fireplace with Leo. And how I often got knocked out cold after being punched by Edis. How embarrassing. This is so much better. Sieg, Otis, Lucy sees power. He sees admiration, incredible power. I can never live up to those expectations. Chris, and this is the reason why she's so much different than them, she's seen him sitting at the fireplace, him not neglecting his training, him getting knocked out by Edis. Goofy little things, human things. Again, this goes back to what I got into very early with this particular story. Why does Chris see things so differently? Why did Chris see this and none of the other ones did? Why was she so hyper-focused on the silly side of Rudius that Sieg said he'd never seen? I never seen my father like this before. It's shattering this expectation I had. Chris seen it. Where was Sieg during this time? Where was Sieg while his eyes were sparkling? Where was Sieg when he got knocked out by Edis? This is what so dumbfounds me, is that they seen something completely different. Or their brain blocked for some reason. There's a side of me that almost feels like it's forcing it to not be seen, and it's sort of a flaw. But at the same time, this at least tells me that it was happening because one of the children seen how goofy he was. It could just simply come down to nobody but Chris wanted to see it. They ignored it or something, which again, for a child seems very odd. It seems very odd. But again, when I went to go to edit, I'm like, I seen that and I'm like, that's right. It literally just highlighted the fact that Chris seen something that they never did, which is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Anyways, let's get into it. Chapter 5, time to let go of one's child. What did you just say? The words came out of nowhere, and my vision flickered. I recognized the sensation. It was similar to being punched when Edis punched me, and I didn't pass out. This is exactly how it felt. Like, what a punch. That kind of feeling. But wait a second. Does that mean I just took a punch? And one faster than I could even react to? Even though I didn't have my eye of foresight open, I should still be used to Edis's punches. Yes, up until now, since I was engaged, I've restrained myself and maintained a moderate distance. But I'll say it clearly, here and now. I love Chris. I'm not saying we need to marry right away, but please give us your permission to date with marriage in mind. This time, it was a body blow. Right in the gut. I'm surprised Chris hasn't said anything. Like, he's been able to say twice and she hasn't even responded, so she must have been ready for it too. Again, before they came to here, there was the impression that he was keeping faithful to who he was engaged with. And it was the fact that she brought this up here and destroyed everything that he had to rebuke her and get rid of her. Again, chance opens really is what we see it. Everybody sees it as chance opportunity here. But this is implying that Chris is perfectly open to this because she's not responding to it right now. You'd think she should be jumping and going, wait, yeah, I'm totally for it or whatever. My stomach suddenly hurt. Chris, what do you think about this? I looked to Chris like a drowning man reaching for help. She said, well, even if you ask me that, and pressed her red cheeks with both hands, squirming. Okay, that's why she's not saying anything. She's literally blowing up. No good. That's the pose she makes when she's really in love. The same one she used to do for me when she was 5. But she has to say it out loud. Chris seems to dislike you, though. I like this. Good one, Rudius. I like this. Papa, don't be mean. I love him, too. He goaded her out of that one. He just totally baited her out of that one. Damn it. So, it really was no good after all. Hearing Chris say it so clearly really hits hard. Feels like someone threw a chair at me from my own corner. Someone. Is there no one in my corner? I looked around and saw the king standing quietly beside Ed. Ed? Oh, Edward. I'm like, who's Ed? I'm like, who's Ed? They haven't actually, like, shortened it to Ed, and so they completely caught me off guard. Looks like a background character. Standing quietly beside Ed, looking like a background character. Ariel, help me. Lord Rudius, of course, as I have always said, I believe the Otter Royal family should maintain its ties with the Grey Rat family. Don't you think this is a fine opportunity? Yeah, she's like, hell yeah. Aw, crap. She's completely on the enemy's side. Why are you so against Edward? I want to say Ed now. Why are you so against this, Rudius? Technically, her position is more of a referee, but she's the kind who would ignore foul play. Her face was fixed in a poker expression, but if you looked closely, the corners of her mouth were twitching into a smile. Sylphie, she's a spectator, watching with interest. Edis is happily eating chicken nuggets. Hasn't even noticed. Roxy, I can't see her. She's probably hiding in the crowd. She always says people make comments about her hair color when she's alone, and yet she's always so impulsive about things like this. No allies. I'm completely cornered. No, I have to fight this one on my own. Otherwise, Doraemon won't be able to rest easy when he goes home. But remember, it was a dream of mine, wasn't it? Telling the hoodlum who wants to marry my daughter, there's no way I'll give my daughter to the likes of you. Is he a hoodlum? I know this is all for fun. I acknowledge this is all for fun, but can we, like, step back and go, what is wrong with Edward? Dude literally stood up for your daughter when you did nothing. Mind you, Rudius, this entire time, you did nothing in this whole situation. Edward stood up and defended your daughter, who was being completely humiliated and defamed in front of an entire crowd of royals and nobles. But no, we gotta stop him. This hoodlum? What is the deal here? It's all for fun again, I know. But facing the situation for real takes courage. The courage to say the likes of you to the son of my colleague Ariel. True. The courage to say the likes of you to the man my daughter loves. The courage to say that to a guy who, from every possible angle, looks like a model gentleman. Do I have that? Again, I'm wondering why you're so set on doing this. He just brought this up, so it's not like I so badly have always wanted to do this and I have to do this, but I can't do this. He's now making up that he wants to do it. It's like, just chill. Just chill, dude. No way. If he were some mohawked guy with a nose piercing who drove a modified horse-drawn carriage down the highway, maybe. It's like some low-riding carriage with the big old handlebars that are way up here or something. But to say that to a clean-cut, decent young man. Well, Papa, I thought doing it this way was really bad, so I wanted to go about it properly, with some preparation. Again, this doesn't... This doesn't... Why are you acting like you pre-planned this? Did you know that she was going to do it and follow through with it, and you were pre-planning with this? He said that he was still going to be faithful to the whole engagement. Maybe they talked about it beforehand. If things... by the way, Chris, I'm extremely faithful to the one that I'm supposed to engage with, and I will never, ever, ever think of doing anything else. But if something happens, would you date me if she screws up in the next 5 years? I'm not saying that I'm being unfaithful here, because I'll never be unfaithful. If theoretically it were to happen in another alternative world, would you go out with me? It's acting like they've talked about this. It's acting like they talked about this, even though they weren't supposed to be talking about this. No, that's fine. I get it. Basically, the reason Chris trapped Viola was probably out of Edward's engagement. Again, she said that she was jealous of her, but she pivoted to saying that it was because Viola could have been great without other people. She could have been great by her own ability if she committed to things that she didn't like. It's the fact that she didn't want to apply herself to things that she didn't like. And so she had other people do it. But yeah, I had a feeling that there was going to be a jealousy there. But it was great because even in the end, she wanted her to stop. She's literally said, I didn't want her to suffer. From what I've heard, it was Viola who tried to set Chris up first. And the fact that it led all the way up to the annulment was unexpected. Still, it's pretty messy. Again, even here it's saying that it's unexpected. So it's like, why would they have discussed this beforehand then? But that's fine. That's fine. This is the Asura Kingdom. Things like that happen here. If you can't handle such things, you'll fall from grace and end up fleeing abroad in no time. We actually have a few former Asura nobles amongst our employees who did exactly that. If Edward planned to keep operating in the Asura Kingdom, he'll need a bit of cunning. However, I still wanted to hear Edward's thoughts on the matter. Edward, yes, just now, you annulled your engagement with Lady Viola, and yet you immediately declared your intent to switch to Chris right here. Don't you think that's a bit too frivolous? W. That's a W question. I know it sounds mean, but it's a W question. You were so faithful to her, and at the drop of a hat, you're switching. It's like the idea of somebody getting a divorce and immediately jumping into the car with a new romantic interest and driving down the road with them and saying, let's get married. It's that whole aspect of like, were you ever together to begin with? And yes, a lot of people, when they go to get divorces or whatever, it's something they've already kind of pre-planned. You know, they've already been upset. That's the reason why they're there. That's the reason why they're there. But again, for him, he said that he was going to be faithful until this happened. This is right here. This is literally right here. And I give him credit for that, honestly, that he was going to follow through with this, that he was going to stick to essentially an honor code. He wanted to respect his mother's wishes. It sucks. And again, it's to this timeline here. It's to this kind of setting, this theme here. But it's still a lot of respect for his willingness to do that. Yes, I think so. However, since Lord Rudius seemed to have already seen through everything, I thought rather than telling a half-hearted lie, it would be better to answer honestly about my feelings. So, even though I knew it would be inappropriate for the situation, I chose to speak. That's good. And what exactly was it that I supposedly saw through? Because you already knew how I felt. Wasn't that why you asked what kind of relationship we have? I didn't know any of that. Stupid. I didn't know any of that. But yeah, right. I did ask him that myself. Well, I see. From Edward's point of view, it must have looked that way. He probably thought, at the very least, I should put on a good face and leave a favorable impression, but then felt like I saw right through him. So, he just answered honestly instead. That's actually kind of manly. Again, I don't know why he's so against this dude. I guess technically to his point, you dropped the hat so quickly and just kind of picked up the next one. I can see that. I could see him being a little bothered by that. Also, I'm an adult member of the royal family. Now that my engagement has been annulled, a new marriage partner will likely be chosen for me soon. Before that happens, I want to make my own will known as soon as possible. And since my mother is present here, I thought that was the right moment. It's like before she... Ariel's over there like, sure. I ain't going to try to push you on somebody else. Again, I think she probably made this choice to have Edward marry this other girl before things fell through with everything that she set up before with Sieg and Otis. This is the third one. Like, okay, finally, I get to make this connection here now. Go for it. Marriage is a duty for royalty, but loving the person you marry is not. Still, I suppose he means he wants to marry someone he loves, if possible. If it were up to Ariel, now that things have reached this point, she would likely go ahead and forcefully choose Chris as Edward's partner anyways. Yeah, things have changed. Well, Edward wouldn't know that. Maybe with Viola too. He hadn't really voiced his own opinion, and before he knew it, the decision had already been made for him. So this time, he probably decided that it would be better to state his wishes clearly rather than let things be decided again without him. This hurts. This air feels heavy, and my stomach aches. That body blow from earlier is still hitting hard. Again, it's a father thing too. But again, it's like the whole thing of like, why is mentally he's so against this guy? It is one of those things where you kind of wonder if at some point he's going to realize that he's just trying to figure out something to not make this happen, and there's no point to it. Like, he's going to realize at some point, why am I fighting this so much? Why is my brain fighting this so much right now? Why did I have to ask that kind of question? Someone, please teach me time travel magic. Like, it's going to still happen, dude. I'll go back to a few minutes and punch myself to stop me. No, that wouldn't help. It was just a matter of time. Yep. Even if it hadn't happened today, he would come with her on another day. And in that case, I probably wouldn't have met him without knowing anything. Compared to that, being able to talk to him right now might actually be lucky. Hang in there, me. Sylphie's watching too. You believe you're a suitable match for Chris? Yes. Though, I can't say with complete confidence. But over these past 3 years, I've helped her. And she has taught me many things as well. Through her, I've realized a lot. I believe that with her, I can live the rest of my life, decades from now, helping and learning from each other. It sounded like the perfect answer. Refreshingly so. Could I have said something like that more than 20 years ago? Yeah, it makes you kind of wonder if he's been planning this, unlike he kept saying that he wasn't planning on this, and that he was totally faithful. If there's anything about me that you find unsatisfactory, please test me to your heart's content. Oh, well said. In that case, then defeat me. If only I could say something like that. It would sound so cool. But beating me wouldn't really do anything to benefit Chris. And if I, acting childishly, pummeled him using my magic armor or something, Chris would just hate me for it. It's not like I enjoy beating up the guy my daughter likes. I just want him to show me that he has the strength to protect her, the resolve to make her happy. But no, that's not it. Again, I go back to earlier. He's already done this. Rudius, where have you been? I know you didn't step in, so I kind of even wonder if you were even in that ballroom to begin with, because they technically implied that he was being held back by, the family, but this boy stepped up when you didn't, Rudius. And now you want to test him to see if he can protect her? He literally just did it. He literally stood in front of all the powers of Asura Kingdom. The king, the prime minister, the nobles, the head of some of the most powerful families in Asura. He stood up in front of all of them to protect your daughter. They were all looking at your daughter like she's scum and that she should be expelled from the entire kingdom. Get her out of here. He stood up. What are you talking about, Rudius? Where have you been? Where have you been, dude? But no, that's not it. Something inside me is warning me. Chris isn't the weak, tearful little girl I once knew. She's a lady with a will of steel now. Someone who can steer her way through the rough seas of the Asura nobility. And Edward recognized that strength. He said he wants to live alongside her, helping and learning together. If you want to survive the Asura Kingdom, you need a different kind of strength than just the ability to win a fistfight. At the very least, Chris has that kind of strength now. She just proved it before our eyes, and Ariel herself has guaranteed it. Again, I acknowledge the fact that Ariel has her own intentions here. We'll acknowledge that Ariel has her own intentions here. Sure, maybe this isn't the best place to say it, right after breaking off an engagement. But still, I was the one who asked. He just answered. Manly, sincere, straightforward. He didn't try to dodge it with, today's not the right time, even though he knew saying it would put him in a tough spot. He understood that I had pressed the issue, and he faced me head on. Good-looking face, good-looking actions. If only there wasn't the fact that he literally just had a fiancé moments ago. He'd be perfect. Again, that's the only sticking point really I can see. Damn it, what's with these guys lately? Every last one of these so-called nobodies looks absurdly handsome. If only you were more like some overcooked, mushy piece of cartilage, I could probably be more aggressive. Phew, calm down, Rudius. This isn't the first time one of your daughters has gotten married. You freaked out when Lucy did too. Back then, you had Nanahoshi to talk to, and that helped you mentally prepare, so you handled it well. This time, you just weren't ready for it. That's all it is. It's basically the same, isn't it? What did I say back then? Right. Maintain a moderate relationship until you graduate. You can't say that this time. He's like, what did I say that time? Crap, can't apply here. He just graduated. If he actually says that, it's going to be too funny. If he actually says that, it's going to be too funny. Dad, we already just graduated. And what did this guy say? Until now, I've kept a moderate distance. And today is the graduation ceremony. I can't use the same line as last time. Exactly. All right, calm down. First things first. Is this guy really suitable for Chris? Again, what are we doing right now, Rudius? What are we doing right now, Rudius? This is going to be like this entire chapter is Rudius fighting with him and then eventually going, okay, take care of my daughter. It's really what's going to come down to. Is at some point he's going to realize he's overthinking things. When Chris is in trouble, will he bother to help without grumbling? He literally just did, Rudius. When the time comes, will he stay and fight alongside her rather than running away? Just happened. Who exactly is this person anyways? The Prince of the Kingdom? That's where I need to start. Then tell me about yourself in detail. In the end, that's what I asked. Of course, this is going to be a long conversation. Where's my drink? Son of a... Rudius, goddamn, dude. I'm crashing out right now. It's a fun crash out. Come on. After that, I spent a long time talking with Edward. It wasn't hostile or anything. In other words, it wasn't one of those conversations that's actually intimidation kind of thing. I simply asked him straight about what kind of man he was and about his relationship with Chris, since he had come forward plainly and said that he wanted permission to court her with marriage in mind. Technically, he didn't put it exactly that way, but it was essentially the same. So, it was only natural that I listened to him. If I didn't know him, there was no way I could approve or deny anything. And it turned into a very, very long talk. That's a fine thing. Again, I like the fact that the boy is showing enough respect that he's doing that for Rudius. At the same time, he doesn't necessarily have to. It's obviously more common in, again, this type of setting that you would, want to get the wishes of the father respected here. But I used up the entire party time listening to him. I feel sorry for him and for the other nobles who wanted to get closer to him. As a result, I came to know him well. How he and Chris first met, how he had been helping her for a long time, how in the end, he couldn't quite manage to do it, but he still tried to help. He was an extremely high-spec person, but he wasn't perfect in every way. Yeah, I mean, technically in the end, towards the later part of that entire situation, he technically did falter. A little bit there. But again, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he, like Chris, was trying to stop her, and he couldn't do it. And then it came to that point where he finally... It seemed like he was giving up, but in actuality, he was giving up because she was unsavable. Again, they all have that same feeling. He admitted himself that he's a sort of cold person who will approach straightforwardly anyone he's interested in, but won't pay unnecessary attention to people he isn't interested in. Apparently, he didn't take Viola, his former fiancée, very seriously, which is one reason the whole incident happened. Respect for him bringing this up. I technically caused this. He's admitting that he's the cause of it, in a way. He wasn't taking her seriously. He basically caused her to get jealous in the end. It's a small flaw, but it might cause trouble in the future. After all, he's a prince. Many will want his attention. I understand what he's saying here, but I also see this as being sort of a benefit to him. In his duties, neglecting people is wrong, because he's going to have expectations, people that he's going to have to fulfill their expectations in order to seek out a goal. But I do think it is also good to not be overly stimulated by how many people are going to want your attention. He's going to be in a very powerful position. Again, he's going to be dealing with a lot of other nations and whatnot. He's going to have a lot of people that are not important trying to get his attention for their own self-gain. And be able to kind of hush those people out of your mind is important. Because again, for somebody like him, having so many people chirping at his ears, it can cause a problem. And it's probably the reason why he has become like this. I can see a lot of people in very powerful positions. This is hard-coded in their brain after so many years of having so many people trying to curry favor from them. He's probably learned how to drown people out. Unfortunately, Viola ended up being one of them. Chris actually knew that about him, and she seemed to believe that she could support him. She thought she could bring out the good in people Edward wouldn't normally notice, make him interested, or act as a buffer by paying attention to those he couldn't. If both know each other's faults and can help one another, then those faults cease to be faults. Unless you're not around at the time. Unless you're not around at the time and there's a very crucial moment, then it's going to blow up in your face. But again, I think there's an element here where having her around to sort of note those things and point them out to him, eventually it will sort of give him a lot more awareness of things like that. He was cold, but came at me squarely and earnestly. Even though he knew that I dote on Chris and am too soft with my family, he didn't run away. He sat and talked things through without flinching or fleeing. He didn't back down. At least in this matter, I felt his sincerity. He's not perfect. He's a man with flaws. I'm not fond of someone who, having broken off engagement that very day, immediately declared he'll date another woman with marriage in mind. Then again, I'm not perfect either. Okay, I was about to say it. He says it. I'm a jerk who told Sylphie over and over again that I would love her and only her, and then later married 2 more women. I was going to say a guy who left my pregnant wife and went off and banged some other girl. It's like, yeah, it's one of those things where it's like situations. But yes, I acknowledge that there's a little bit of hypocrisy there, but the situations. At the same time, it's intent. It's always about intent. It's always about intent in the end. I'm not one to preach about other people's fickleness. I want my daughter to be protected by a perfect man, perfectly, and to be perfectly happy. But I know perfect people don't exist. People who look perfect are just good at hiding their flaws. I think somebody that is willing to show those imperfections is probably one that you can trust a lot more than one that you don't see flaws. If Edward came up and he had 0 flaws, he seemed like the perfect dude, I'd be more afraid than somebody that comes forward and you see what their flaws are. You can note them. Yeah, there's going to be probably some flaws that you don't see, or there might be masking a lot of flaws that are more worse, but still, whether son or daughter, you have to be able to live with those kind of people. Work to protect yourself and make yourself happy. Anyways, I talked to Edward and Chris and learned they weren't together just because they were infatuated with each other. They had helped each other out for 3 years and were needed by one another. They complemented each other, both in ability and personality. When I realized that, I thought, not bad. Not enough to stamp a royal seal of approval and proclaim I can trust them with my daughter. But still, this wasn't a bad match, so I gave permission for them to date. I also told them that beyond that, they had to discuss and decide things together. If they both talked it over and decided, I won't oppose it. But I made sure to warn them clearly that if he ever became dishonest with Chris, I would kill him. Well, probably. I don't think it's going to come to that anyways. In any case, Chris didn't seem completely against it, so things will probably move along quickly. That's what youth is. It means not hesitating. The next time I go to the Austria Kingdom, it'll probably be Chris's wedding. Now the party was over, and we're on our way home, not to the villa in the Austria Kingdom, but to our home in Shariah. That was something else. From the time the party ended, until we got back to our house in Renoa, I must have said those same words over and over. More than 10 times easily. At first, my wives nodded along and gave their opinions, but now they just smile wryly and agree. Yeah, it really was. By the way, Roxy missed the part where I got flustered, and she still looks regretful about it. Yeah, she got right because she wasn't right there. She wanted to see him get all flustered. Dorky. You gotta invent photography in this world, Rudius. Chris is getting married, huh? I thought Chris would take a bit longer, but before I knew it, she had already grown up and become independent. Everything went so smoothly. Among all my children, none have grown as much as she did. At the Austria Royal Academy, usually, after graduation, most of them went through a bit of a sluggish period, and yet the one that I thought would fit the least in the Austria Royal Academy turned out to fit in the best. I'm surprised he didn't see Sieg being the biggest issue. I would assume that he firsthand would know a lot more than I would, that there was going to be so much discrimination against him. Funny how things worked out. Because again, if I were to step back and go, okay, Otis, Sieg, Lucy, Chris, which one do I think is going to fit in the most? Chris. She's going to have a shock period, but she's probably going to find a place to slip in there. Just technically Lucy, more so, but I think that's more in the idea that she's going to be so determined not to let Rudius down. But again, they all kind of have that. Otis, I see having a lot of issues, but Sieg the most. It's like green hair. Come on, Rudy. It's all you've been saying since earlier, said Sylphie. Even if she says that, so many things about Chris have been running through my head today that I can't focus my thoughts, no matter what I think about. The same words keep coming out, so there's nothing I could do. Right, when we get home, I'll drink plenty of alcohol. Should I celebrate grandly, or cry my eyes out, or throw a fit saying that I can't give my daughter to some random rascal until he transforms into a super life form? What? To decide that, I'll need to cleanse my brain with alcohol. Everyone, I'll be drinking when we get home. Who's in? Sounds good for a change, Edis said. Oh, then let's open the wine that we got today, said Sylphie. I'll take that sweet liquor that I got the other day, Roxy said. Everyone agreed to join. All right, it's been a while. Let's have some drinks with the four of us. Yeah, just the four of us now. All the kids have become independent. Isn't Lily still there, though? I guess Lada at least is probably staying at the academy, but Lily should still be there. Unless there was some side story that hasn't been told yet that she got another apartment or something like that. Well, not all. There's still one left. The one who's supposedly doing research at the university. Now, this ain't Lada. Again, where's Lily? But on her days off, she lazes around the house like a caterpillar. So, not exactly independent yet. But that's fine. We'll take it slow. I don't really know what's going through her mind, but Miggards have a long lifespan. She'll sort herself out eventually. Anyways, tonight I'll have Sylphie pour me drinks, put Roxy on my lap, and grope Edis's breast until she punches me. When I wake up from that knockout, it'll be refreshing new morning thinking. I like how part of it is like get myself knocked out. Not drink myself till I'm knocked out. I gotta make her knock me out, and then when I wake up, everything's gonna be good. Thinking such things, we finally arrived home. I greeted Bite, who was wrapped around the gate post, with a "I'm home," and as I took my first step onto the property, ready to drink, Leo's barking came from inside the house, and it was an urgent, desperate bark. It sounded like it was calling out to us outside. Hurry and get in here. We all looked at each other in an instant, then moved immediately. Edis took the lead, Sylphie and I in the middle, Roxy in the rear. Edis drew her sword, and I opened my eye of foresight. After exchanging nods with Edis, Sylphie placed her hand on the door and flung it open in one motion. Rah! Edis rushed in first, Sylphie falling right behind her. I shifted slightly to the side, circling around. What are you doing? Edis's deflated-sounding voice froze us in place. That was Leo and Lada. Two people, or rather, one person and one beast, were frozen in place, each pulling on the same bag, fighting over it. Well, it wasn't really a... Okay, so it's not... Another refugian. It's so bad that, like, at this point, every single time something like this happens, I just assume it's going to be a joke. I just assume it's going to be something that's not that important. Though it kind of makes me wonder if possibly Lada was trying to leave before they got back home. I mean, it's a bag in her hand, and Leo doesn't sound too happy. I'm assuming Lada wants to leave, and Leo's not wanting her to leave before they come home. Well, it wasn't really that strange. Lada and Leo are close, but they do fight sometimes. Usually, Leo gives in. Yeah, they kind of implied before that Leo's kind of like an older brother, like always keeping her in check or whatever. However, there was just one thing that didn't make sense. Lada Grey Rat, my second daughter, a girl who inherited the blood of Miggard race quite strongly, looking about 14 years old, the troublesome daughter that I just badmouthed in my head. For some reason, she was carrying a large backpack, a huge bag, as if she were going out on a journey. Yep. She was going to go somewhere before they got back, and Leo wasn't letting her. And not just one, there were 3 in total that she and Leo were currently fighting over. Yes, my reclusive daughter, for some reason, was dressed for travel. Lada, what is with that outfit? Roxy asked before I could, and Lada made an incredibly annoyed face. Chapter 6, the last one to leave the nest. So this story is about Lada being the last one. I figured it was going to be Chris, and for some reason, Lily apparently has an apartment somewhere. Again, I've already kind of assumed that somewhere in this timeline of all these side stories that we're kind of jumping through their lives and whatnot, that at some point Lada leaves on a journey. Because I think they implied that already as well, that she goes off on a journey. And I'm like, crap, give us that story. Damn it, give me that story already. Lily's like the big kind of question mark. Like, at some point, she finds some independence. She starts to live with somebody. Maybe her and Julie get a place together. I mean, they can totally, like, just bunk up together. Lily and Julie become roomies. Or more. Or more. Anyways, chapter 6. Lada had a terribly annoyed look on her face. She had gone to all the trouble of moving around without being noticed, yet, in the very end, she'd been found. That kind of face. Has she done something bad again? Something that would get her butt smacked by Edis? Going somewhere? Just out for a bit. When Lada said that, Leo stepped in front of her, crouched low, and growled in a tone he rarely ever used. Grrr. Fine, I get it. I get it already, jeez. That was unusual. Leo was genuinely angry at Lada. What did my daughter do this time? If that's the case, then she's definitely preparing to run away in the middle of the night. Lada had a bad habit of running away whenever she did something bad. That was back then, when she was younger though. She loved pranks, yet she was terrified of getting her butt smacked by Edis. I told her more than a few times, if you do something bad, you have to be ready to face the punishment. But, well, if words alone couldn't fix it, she wouldn't have done it again and again. As the years went by, the kids grew older. Edis spanked them less and less. But Lada was the only one still getting spanked until the very end. She'd say it hurt so much she couldn't sleep on her back. What did she do this time? Did she break a porcelain cup Sylphie treasured? No, it has to be something more serious than that. Even when she left that weird threatening letter on Orsa's desk and made him run around town, she didn't try to sneak off like this. He left a threatening She left a threatening letter on Orsa's desk that made him run around town. Oh my gosh. I could totally see that. Like, she writes a letter like, this is Geese and I'm back and I'm totally gonna trick you again, and leaves it on Orsa's desk, and now he's like looking around the town looking for Geese. Papa, mamas. Lada had a pitiful expression for a moment, but then quickly returned to her usual calm face, turned towards us, and then a sharp motion raised her hand and said, I'm going on a little journey. Yeah. I mean, it's assumption there because she's got a bunch of bags. That was her declaration. Her, just out for a bit, had turned into a little journey. Or two. I saw a slightly troublesome future. So, here and there. A troublesome future? We all looked at each other, putting that new study that she's been doing into work. And I'm kind of wondering if it has something to do with her old destiny that she's supposed to be doing with Leo. Lada had always been a mischievous kid and enjoyed doing weird things. There was a time that we thought she'd grow up to be the leader of the neighborhood troublemakers, but at some point, she calmed down. So much so, she became a lazy, fortune-telling, loving, mysterious shut-in type. I didn't really mind what kind of person she became. Lada seemed to be enjoying her days in her own way, but when she suddenly says she's going on a trip, and secretly, no less, it's only natural to worry. Yeah, I mean, by all accounts, it seems like they're kind of implying that she's gonna, again, been shut in, that she might not have the fortitude to be able to do that, or whatever. Again, she's going on her own. Now, yes, the assumption here is that at least Leo's going with her. But again, with that natural fear that he's always going to have, that, you know, the man god's going to set something up. And again, the fears are always going to be there. Like, I have less fears for somebody like Chris, because again, Chris is at the heart of the Oscar Kingdom. Yes, they could still send people in there or, you know, manipulate somebody to go after her, but at least she has a lot of powerful people around her that can protect her. What's going on all of a sudden? Did you do something really bad? I didn't do anything. Then why? Explaining is such a pain. Come on, don't say that. When I pressed her, Lada sighed with a look of annoyance. It was the kind of face that said, telling Papa won't help. Huh. And this kind of makes me believe that she's probably seeing everything that's coming up with, like, again, Otis and Sieg. Probably all that stuff with the northern region coming all together, the conflict with the Oscar Kingdom. She probably foresees all this stuff. She's seeing signs of different things that are happening, and she knows she has to do something, but she knows how it works. And again, my assumption that a lot of that stuff, the fortune-telling stuff, works with is sort of showing destiny. It's showing your destiny, that kind of stuff. And it's probably a lot of stuff that you can't really change easily, similar to the man god. The man god had to do some crazy stuff to kind of manipulate things that are being forced into play by destiny. She probably sees the same things he's seeing. And it could be the stuff that she's been studying about fortune-telling is literally the stuff that the man god utilizes. Don't look at me like that. Just tell me. Maybe I can actually help you somehow, you know? Because at this rate, as things are now, I'm going to lose. To the man god? Probably. And again, that could be the idea of the man god manipulating all this crap to happen, where Sieg and Otis are going against each other, and again, these nations are fighting against each other. Lose? Lose to who exactly? Who is she competing against? Lily, maybe? Or Sieg? Lada's expressions were always too hard to read. But maybe she was feeling some kind of danger or urgency. The next time I come back, I'll be bringing a man. I don't think it's what... I know Maria's going to think the same thing, that she's going to lose to Chris getting married or something like that. She's trying to beat them. No. Marius, I know what you're going to do in a minute. Don't do it. You don't do it. It's not going to be about relationship. It's not going to be about a relationship. A man? Could it be that she heard somewhere that Chris is getting married? She sure is quick to pick up the gossip. But Lada, despite appearances, has her own information network. She probably caught wind of what we heard at the party and started feeling pressured. I see. So even Lada is feeling a bit rushed to get married and is setting off on a journey because of it. She's really grown up, huh? Has she? She has, right? I want to believe that she has. Again, it's not about that, Rudius. Can't you do something closer to home? Impossible. The density isn't right. Density? You mean mana density? Yeah. I see. Well, I suppose the way the man grows can depend on mana density of the place he's raised in. Men raised in areas with high mana densities tend to be strong, have green hair, carry white spears, and are dependable types who love kids. But that's Norn's husband, so he's off limits. Stupid. And I'll be doing various experiments too. Experiments? Experiments. So, it's not just about finding a man then. If it's something that depends on mana density, there'd be things that she can't do around here. Wait, so she's not going out to look for a guy. That story doesn't add up, daughter of mine. In other words, Lada used fate divination magic to foresee her own future, saw a troublesome one ahead, decided she couldn't stay like this, and so she plans to continue her research in a distant land while also searching for a marriage partner. Is that correct? Roxy summarized the whole thing, clear as always, as expected of teacher. I mean, all the other stuff makes sense, but I still don't think it has anything to do with the marriage partner. Unless she's tired of Roxy bringing her possibilities. Professionals really are different. Well, that's not entirely wrong. It sounded like there was some nuance behind her words, but apparently Roxy wasn't too far off. Still, I can't help but think that it's mostly wrong, because it doesn't make any sense. I don't know what kind of future Lada saw through her fortune telling, but no matter how many experiments she does in a far-off place, that won't exactly help her catch a man. Again, that's the part that's like a little bit off for me, honestly. If that were her goal, it might be more reliable that I pick out a good candidate for her myself. No need to worry. I'll definitely bring one back. Okay? Maybe there's a chance that in her divination, she's finding that there's going to be a guy that she's going to run into. That could be as well. That she just sees the person that she's going to be with in her divinations. She says not to worry, but of course, I'm worried. Deeply worried. I'm worried for the poor man who might get caught by this weird daughter of mine. Damn, Rudius. Well, even so, if Lada is interested in that kind of thing and wants to handle it on her own, then I won't stop her. I'll just wait. I'll wait to see what kind of man she brings back. Patiently. White Mama and Blue Mama can look forward to it. What? Why specifically them? Huh? What about Papa? Papa is already dead. It's gonna take her that long? Okay, she's seeing way up there. And again, this was to my point. She's seeing the conflict at the end of this century. She's seeing the war. She's seeing what's happened with Otis and Sieg and all that kind of stuff. She's seeing all that stuff. And this is what she's planning for then. This final battle that's going to lead up for everything with the man god and everything. But in that gap there between when Rudius dies and this happens, she's probably going to return home and they're going to see who she ends up with. Papa's not going to. So literally this is implying she's already foreseen the future. She will never see Rudius again once she leaves his house. That, for me, hits a little harder than everybody else has been stating. Because again, everybody else is like, oh, I'm leaving forever, never see you guys ever again. And it's like, guys, get in a teleporter and go see each other every now and then. Lada sees the future through this divination and the possibility that she'll never, ever see Rudius again. That sucks. That sucks. You don't have to talk like some martial arts successor from the Fist of the North God or something. What does she mean by that? Does she mean that she'd rather kill me than let me meet the guy? No, she literally is going to be gone. Because again, she didn't say Red Mama either. Again, she didn't say Red Mama. Edis dies before Rudius. If I remember correctly, she dies before Rudius. Because I remember in that whole, like, in his deathbed moment, Roxy came in, Sylphie came in, but I don't think Edis did. Edis, he's seen somebody that looked like Edis. One of the granddaughters, I think it was. Or that she just doesn't want to introduce me? Or could it be that I'm already dead, and this is a lingering spirit talking? Well, sure, I had a past life, so technically I did die once, but I'm still alive now, you know? Why won't she let me meet him, though? It's not like I've ever opposed my kids' marriages. Well, okay, not never, but still. God, Rudy's are so freaking slow. Rudy's are so freaking slow. Just recently, I gave my blessing to Chris and that rascal prince she's dating, so at least let me meet the guy. Red Mama's no good either. Again, she's gonna be dead. Why not? Edis asked. He won't be easy to find. It'll take time. Time. Ah, I see. So that's what you mean. It's a shame that I won't get to see Lada's husband then. Edis looked like she understood something. That's sad. It's not sad. Like I it feels like I'm insulting her. It's sad that Edis picked up on this before Rudius does. Edis figured it out before you, Rudius. Edis looked like she understood something, and I think I get it too. It'll take time. Edis won't make it either, which means 50 years from now, maybe. By then, both Edis and I will probably be long gone. Huh. It'll take 50 years just to find one man? Well, knowing this kid. No, I think it's the fact that she's going to be doing a lot of stuff, and then she's going to find him in the process. I don't think she's not going to spend 50 years looking for a dude. Is she going to be doing something that's going to be for something in the future that's going to be bad, and she's going to meet somebody in that time? Well, knowing this kid, I guess it's not impossible. Or is the experiment supposed to take 50 years? Hey, Lada? I called her name, trying to calm myself. After the whole mess with Chris, my brain was on the verge of exploding, and now talking with Lada was pushing it past the limits. This was already outside my capacity to comprehend. I needed her to slow down a little. This dude's gonna have a freaking midlife crisis right here and now. There's no such thing as a perfect ideal man in this world, you know? So, you got to compromise a little, or go with your gut feeling. I'm so with Lada right here. As I try to lecture her about finding a man, she let out a loud, exasperated sigh. Come on, at least hear me out until the end. Good grief. Papa is really hopeless sometimes. Lada took 2 steps closer to me. And this is probably why she was trying to sneak out. It's because she just knew that he's not going to understand. When she reached right in front of me, she spread out her arms and went, For some reason, I picked her up and hugged her. It's like it's just automatic. It's just instincts. Pick her up and hug her. She has a small body, just like Roxy. When she lets her hair down from her back, she looks just like Roxy. I've mistaken her for Roxy twice. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Moving on. Once I called out Roxy, and when Roxy answered from behind, I thought, an after image? Okay, I thought it was going to be like one of those things where I came up behind her and I grabbed her or something like that. Oh gosh. There. It's about time you stopped clinging to your daughter. She patted my head with a light tap. I felt kind of mocked. As if I were the one throwing a tantrum because I didn't want to be separated from Lada. Again, that's why she was sneaking out. If you don't stop. Okay. If you don't stop, I'll tell him about the second time you mistook me for Blue Mama. Please don't. I beg you. I really do regret it. Because of that mistake, I stopped sneaking up on Roxy and suddenly hugging her from behind. I literally just said that. I can see it. Oh gosh. Now I call out to make sure before approaching. Lada forgave me with a, oh well, things like this happen, but I can't forgive myself. Anyways, I put Lada down. She brushed the dust off her clothes with a flick, smiled lightly, slung her bag onto her shoulder with style. Don't worry, leave it to me. I won't let everything Papa accomplished go to waste. Again, this is all clicking everything. Everything's clicking right now. The whole northern area right there, all becoming one nation, having conflict with Osfer Kingdom, Sieg down here, now apparently going to be sneaking into this area where there's a fort where Otis is currently at, defending it. There's this conflict happening with all these nations that Ruius had set up to all be in cahoots. He was working in the background with Orsted to make sure everybody would come together against Laplace. Now everybody's fighting each other. They're supposed to be going up against Laplace, but now everybody's fighting each other. There's all this buildup. But yes, but the man god himself claimed that he was going to turn everybody on themselves. And Rudius is like, it's up to them. I did everything I could. It's up to them now. Lada's foreseeing that. Lada's foreseeing that everything that Rudius has set up right now is going to eventually have conflict created, and it's all going to fight each other, and she's trying to stop the destruction of what he created. Then, striking a pose with a determined face, she said, I'm going to change the near future a little. My daughter is well past 20. She isn't some 14-year-old girl. Maybe, after being a prankster to a strange kid, has she finally gone full Chinubio? No, maybe this was just her way of showing resolve. She decided that she couldn't loaf around being taken care of by the family in the Magic City of Shiraya. She'll leave her parents, stand on her own, find someone decent somewhere, and get married. God, there's sometimes his obliviousness gets so annoying. It's like, okay, stop, dude. Stop at some point. Then she'll boss that person around and lays about again. Maybe that's the determination she's voicing. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. Okay, Rudius, whatever. Moving on. So, what do you think? Forcibly forcing myself to think along those lines, I looked to my wives. They all had troubled expressions. More like baffled expressions. Good, apparently. I'm not the only one who can't understand this. No, they understand it. It's sudden. They understand it. It's just sudden, Rudius. You're not getting why. It's just sudden for them. Well, if she wants to go, there's no reason to stop her. Sylphie's tone was hesitant. She'd watched the child grow the most, but she apparently didn't really understand Lada either. Well, kids are hard to understand, I guess. Surprisingly, only Edis seemed to show an expression that suggests that she actually understood. Again, I think they all understand except for you, Rudius. It's just that Edis sees resolve. Edis sees resolve. Sylphie's hesitant because she's worried. Don't know about Roxy yet. I haven't really got a sense from Roxy. I mean, she literally just said earlier that she's done the divination and she's seen something. I think it's fine. Young people should travel. But her understanding was only surface level. She was speaking from her own experience. Even if the purpose is nonsensical, traveling is a good thing. No, I could see her possibly seeing very surface level about what Lada's doing with that travel. But Edis probably sees travel, yeah, but also resolve. Edis always seems to pick up on resolve and really gravitates towards resolve. I have something to protect. I'm going to protect something. That's what gets her excited. She gets excited when somebody else experiences the same thing she did with wanting to protect a family, wanting to protect Rudius, all that. Even if that purpose was nonsensical, traveling is a good thing. Simple and straightforward. Right. I think Lada should see a bit more of the world. Staying here would be pretty hopeless in many senses anyways. Roxy also agreed with Edis, saying waiting here for marriage might be hopeless for Lada. Carry some weight coming from her. To tell the truth, Roxy had brought potential matches to Lada several times. Lada smashed every one of them to pieces. Again, because she's already seen it. I see. For now, no one seemed intent on stopping her departure. Honestly, I still can't catch up. But if she's going, I'll send her off. All right. But if you're planning not to come back for decades, I at least wish you would have said goodbye properly. Leo said the same thing. When I told him that I didn't want any formal farewells, he got really angry. He said he wouldn't let me go because I definitely regret it. Again, because you're saying that you're not going to see Rudius ever again. At some point, at some point, you're going to come back and go, that's right. Dad's not going to be there when I get home. Ah, that's why Leo was mad. Good boy. Thanks for trying to stop her. I'll give you a fancy meal later. Well, Leo's leaving with her, so it won't be any later. I told Lily, and I even left the letter in the living room. Lada, you probably don't know, but Papa really hates farewell letters. The moment I saw that letter, I would have chased after you at full speed. Don't think you could run from Papa. So, Papa hates them, huh? I didn't know that. Yeah. Not very good experience with letters left behind like that. I don't want to be shocked by another farewell letter. Thinking that, I glanced at Edis. She had a look on her face that said, I would chase after her too. You're acting like this is none of your business, but you know very well the reason I came to hate farewell letters is because of you. Not that I'm mad or anything. Well, whatever. Lada, is there anything you need? No. Even so, she didn't look completely prepared. Her bag is for travel, but her outfit isn't exactly suited for it. It seems she gathered what she thinks she needs for the journey, but it still feels like she's missing a few things. Maybe I should prepare something for her. Again, it's that whole thing of like, you don't have to leave now. It doesn't have to have a party. It doesn't have to have a farewell party, but at least like chill, talk for a little bit, have a little time to kind of connect before you part ways. I hate this whole like it has to happen now mentality that a lot of these characters have. No, she'll figure out what she truly needs as she travels, so it's fine. The unfortunate thing about that is that in a lot of cases you find out when you die. Oh crap, I didn't have the right boots as you're dying. From the way she talked, this is going to be their final farewell, is it? In that case, I want to give her something a little special, something that, even decades from now, will remind her of her family when she sees it. As I thought that, and looked at the other three, it seemed like they were thinking the same thing. Just wait a moment. Okay. Exchanging glances with Sylvie and Roxy, I hurried into the study. If we leave her alone too long, Lada might just slip away without a word. She's always been like that. She might seem docile and absent-minded, but she's surprisingly cunning. Though Leo is watching her now, so she probably won't disappear. Found it. Clutching what I'd found in the study, I returned to the entrance. Just then, Roxy and Sylvie came running back as well. Edis was already there. Figures she'd be the fastest. Lada, take this with you. Edis said that as she handed over a knife. I already have a knife, though. Think of it as a charm. If you ever have to fight someone like Orsted, use it. Aim for the vital spots. It'll work. Here, take this knife. Aim for his vitals. If you ever face somebody like Orsted, who can literally just deflect anything with Water God style, just aim for the vital spots. It'll work. Got it, though. I'm not planning on fighting Orsted. It's a good point right there. Thank you. At least we established that. That she's still on Orsted's side. I mean, we see the whole future thing and all that kind of stuff, but still. It's like with everybody else, it's like, I don't even know anymore. With these kids. Next, Roxy stepped forward. In her hands rested an old, worn hat. Ow. It's Roxy's, like, first hat. Oh, her old hat. It was all sudden, so I couldn't prepare much. This is all I have. That hat was one that Roxy used to wear. A nostalgic sight for me. The material and craftsmanship must be good. It's quite old, but still perfectly usable. The OG hat, dude. The OG hat. Aww. A hat you probably didn't notice much in Shiraya, but blue hair stands out amongst human nations. To avoid unnecessary trouble, it's best to wear a hat in public. I see. Got it. Saying that, Lada brushed off the dust from the hat and plopped on her head. Aww. This one's for me. Sylvie handed over a small bundle of papers. What's this? Our family's cooking recipes. You're a girl too, Lada. If you want to catch a boy, you'll at least need to know how to cook. Sylvie giving her advice to catch some guy's taste buds. Best way to a man is their stomach. That makes sense. Got it. I'll practice. Lastly, it was my turn. I handed over what I was holding to Lada. When she received it, her eyes went wide. What could it be? A stone of absorption, maybe? Something that would surprise her. Because I seen her eyes went wide. For some reason, a Migurd symbol is coming to mind, too. Did he get that back from Rajerd? I think he did, right? When she received it, her eyes went wide. This could be? I removed the great... Don't be the Ponsu. Don't be the Ponsu. It's Roxy's Ponsu. It's the holy relic. Here, take this. This has protected me throughout my journeys. Oh my god, dude. I removed the gray cloth wrapped around the end. Arrogant Water Dragon King, Aqua Hartia. With a slight trembling hands, she gripped the staff tightly and looked up at me again. They're literally turning her into Roxy. They're literally turning her into Roxy 2.0. I don't remember it being called Arrogant Water Dragon King. What is the Arrogant Water Dragon King? I don't remember that part. That get lost in the original translation, maybe? Are you sure? It's obviously valuable, so keep it wrapped up in cloth when you're carrying it around. Oh, got it. Thank you. Looks like she was the happiest with my gift. Nice. She wanted it for a long time after all. This one's gonna get me the most. Like, of all these damn stories, this one's gonna get me the most. Because actually, again, this is a build-up to a goodbye. With all the other characters, it feels like there's no goodbyes. It's just always like, and then we left. There's like no, like, even with Sieg, it was like, here, have this helmet. We had some fun talks and then parted ways. This is a build-up. But instead of Aqua Hartia, Lada's gaze was fixed on the cloth. I had to... better not be the Ponsu. But instead of Aquahartia, Lada's gaze was fixed on the cloth I had just unwrapped. Rather than just a cloth, it was more like clothing. Old, worn, faded clothing. A gray robe, okay? Okay. The Ponsu isn't that bad. The Ponsu isn't that big. He got his robe on it? I mean, he probably hooked it on there, maybe. Lada silently stared at it for a while, then put it on. What she wore was a robe I once used to wear. Naturally, it was far too big for her. If she walked like that, the hem of it would drag along the ground, and unless she rolled up the sleeves, her hands wouldn't even show. With Roxy's hat on top of it all, she looked like nothing more than a child pretending to be a magician. No, she looks like Roxy and Rias's child right here. I've seen art of this, so I would kind of assume this would eventually happen, that she would get a Rudius robe. I wasn't assuming the hat would be the same, though. I had an assumption it was just going to be somebody else's hat. It's surprising that Roxy still has that hat around. Because, again, she got a new one from Rudius and Sylphie. Specifically Sylphie. It was a gift from Sylphie. Let's be perfectly clear. It wasn't a gift from Rudius. It was a gift from Sylphie. Sylphie presented it. Rudius is over on the side. Lada, that doesn't really suit you, you know? It's got big holes in it, too. I'll have it tailored later. It hasn't been washed in ages. Doesn't it smell? It does. It smells like Papa. I'll wash it and hang it out to dry later. Oh, I see. Well, if she likes it, I guess it's fine. Lada pulled out another piece of cloth from her bag and wrapped it around the tip of the staff. She then stood up straight and leapt on Leo's back. Well then, I'm off. That sucks. I was really hoping for that to be an excuse for hanging around for a little bit longer. Well, looks like we're going to have to tailor that, robe to fit you better. And then they're going to spend some time to kind of tailor that up. And then she'll leave. But no. Just jump on Leo's back and get out of here. I'll do it somewhere else. I'll clean it elsewhere. I'm good. I hate these kids and they're just running off. Well then, I'm off. Yeah. Be careful of monsters, all right? Got it. So casual. From the way that she spoke, it sounded like this was supposed to be their final farewell. But honestly, I had a feeling she might just show up again in 3 days or so. If this really was our last goodbye, shouldn't I say something? Something clever or meaningful, maybe? Watch out for bad guys, all right? Got it. Take baths. Got it. Brush your teeth. Got it. Wash your face. It's like Lada's the only one that's getting Wash your face. Too much trouble. Do your homework. Hell no. Do your homework. Hell no. Rudius. Edda stopped me as I started hosting my questions and answer session, even though it wasn't even 9 at night. Oops, my bad. Just because I couldn't think of anything clever to say didn't mean I should start spouting nonsense. I should take a second to think and save my words for the end. Yeah, let's do that. When I stepped back, the other 3 stepped forward. This all happened so suddenly. I don't even know what to say. Just make sure to eat properly, okay? You tend to skip your meal times when you're not careful, Lada. Got it? I'll eat. Lada, traveling can be surprisingly enjoyable, but don't ever let your guard down. Death can come at an instant. Got it? I won't let my guard down. Sylphie and Roxy each said a few words. Their messages were relatively simple. Since they both have long lifespans, they probably believed they'd meet Lada again someday. I mean, she literally just said that. I'm going to see you two again, but nobody else. Finally, Edda stepped forward. If Lada's words were true, this was her final farewell for Edis as well. I wondered what Edis would say. I don't really get it, but you found something you need to do, right? Yeah, I found it. Then there's nothing more I need to say. Do your best. Yeah, I will. Ah, that's Edis for you. So cool. I wanted to say something like that too. Like, then there's nothing more to say. There's got to be something like that I could pull off. At the end, Edis turned to Leo. Leo, take good care of Lada, all right? Woof. Leo barked with a proud expression on his face. It was the look of someone saying, the time has finally come to fulfill my mission. He looked sharp and dignified. Even Lada's unusually vacant expression seemed a bit more focused than usual. Surprised it took this long. Again, I figured there'd be something sort of kind of nudge towards her with the whole, like, Beast Folk Village celebration thingamajiggy, which we still completely skipped, by the way, Refugin. But the time is now kind of thing. Looking at their expressions, I somehow understood, surely at the end of this journey, Lada will accomplish something. I don't know what that something was, but at the very least, the man god wanted her dead. That means whatever she's destined to achieve will likely be the key event to defeat the man god. That's why this journey must hold some great meaning. Or at least, I wanted to believe that. Lada has been targeted by the man god, so maybe we really should have kept her protected and sheltered instead of letting her roam freely. But if doing that stopped her from accomplishing what she was meant to do, then that would defeat the purpose. If she were just a being who only lived her days without purpose, the man god probably wouldn't bother trying to interfere at all. True. Keep her sheltered so that he can't attack her. Well, then he's not going to attack her. Still, I don't know. Even so, saying something like that doesn't feel right. Lada is a child born with a mission. A man god targeted her, and even Orsted tried to protect her. But Lada isn't a tool meant to defeat the man god. At the very least, I shouldn't treat her that way. Yeah, that's a very kind of rough area right there. That's a very rough area there. She technically was born for this purpose, but you can't treat her like that's her own purpose. I think this is great because it doesn't seem like Lada is doing this with the mindset of that. What did Lada say? She wants to protect what Father created. She wants to protect his legacy. She seems like she's always aloof and off the side, lounging around, just being lazy, just bleh, whatever, just letting it all hang out. And it doesn't seem like she wants to get involved with things. But at its heart, she's studying this stuff and she's seen something. And again, what she's seen wasn't, my destiny. Finally, it's time for me to enact my destiny. This is the thing that I was supposed to do. This is why Leo's with me right now. That's why I have the sacred beast with me. I'm supposed to do this one thing. But she was studying this stuff and she's seen something. And what she's seen wasn't, my destiny. She's seen, I have to protect what Father did. I have to protect his legacy. It's so good. It's so good. At the very least, I shouldn't treat her that way. After thinking that far, I stepped forward again to face Lada. Lada, honestly, I have no idea what's going through your head, but this is your life. Live it however you want until the end. Yes, I understand. I mean, that's also technically a good point. This girl's like in her 20s. This girl's literally in her 20s. She's a grown-up. She's an adult. Yes, I understand. She replied politely, which was rare for her, and nodded solemnly. Looks like I managed to say something decent after all. Even if it overlapped a little bit with what Edis said, it was how I truly felt. Well, for now, I'll just send her off. Tomorrow, I'll explain the situation to Orsted and take whatever measures are necessary. Maybe I'll have some guards secretly watch over her. That could work, alright? Then, take care. I'm off. In her usual, almost absent-minded tone, Lada said that and left the front door while still on Leo's back. Leo lumbered along towards the gate. Then, suddenly, he stopped, and Lada turned to look back. For a few seconds, she looked at us and at the house. Her expression was the same as always. Vacant, hard to read, impossible to tell what she was thinking. But after a moment, she dismounted from Leo. She then faced us and bowed deeply. Thank you for everything you've done up until now. And with that, Lada Greyrat set off on her journey. Ouch. Again, that's the only one that really felt like it built up to a goodbye. Like all these other kids, it's always like, peace out. Or they left him behind or something. Like, there's no goodbyes here. And again, I think it hurts the most because this is the one that feels like the most about family. Technically with Otis, he was taking over the role from Rudius as like Orsid's right-hand man. So technically that is for what Rudius's kind of legacy is as well. But Sieg's like definitely for his own purpose. Like, this is what I want to do. I want to help my friend. He gained somebody that he really wanted to be alongside. Chris really does feel like it's just kind of building into the Ostra Kingdom because she likes the Ostra Kingdom. Lada is like, let me spend literally like 50 years protecting what Father built. An hour later, we were in the living room. The fire crackled softly in the fireplace as the four of us sat close together on the sofa, sipping warm tea. It was already late at night, but none of us felt like sleeping. We planned to drink heavily, but even alcohol didn't feel right tonight. A little 1-2 whammy. A little 1-2 punch. That really came out of nowhere, huh? Sylvie muttered softly. Chris's graduation, her job, her engagement, and now Lada's departure. The latter especially came so abruptly that my mind still hadn't caught up. It all felt kind of unreal. She didn't have to leave in the middle of the night like that. Do you think she used teleportation circle? At this hour, the gates are probably closed, so probably. I'm worried. Should I go check on her, even now? Roxy kept glancing nervously towards the window. I'm sorry, girl. If Lada can't handle getting out of this city, she's not going to make it across the world. Roxy kept glancing nervously towards the window. Of all of us, she had always worried about Lada the most over the past few years. Even though she never really understood her, she tried to bring her matchmaking prospects, tried recommending jobs. All of it felt like punching a curtain. No response at all. She'll be fine. She was different tonight. I could actually feel some determination from her. She usually doesn't have any motivation at all. Edison Sylphie, on the other hand, didn't seem too worried. Truth be told, I wasn't that worried either. Lada had been a bit of a recluse, but her kind of reclusion was fundamentally different from how I had been in my previous life. And despite everything, she'd always been a perceptive child, curious too, and loved experimenting. Yeah, it feels like she's kind of lost in her own way trying to study towards something. There's like a goal. That's like even at the lab at the university. It's like she's working towards something there. She's doing something there. She's building towards something. She's studying something. And it's all towards this goal. Even if it feels like she doesn't want to get involved in things, there's still technically a goal there that she's building towards. Maybe because she'd gotten scolded so often for her pranks when she was little, she had a real, tangible understanding of where the line was. The line she must never cross. She lived freely, but without stepping over it. That's how she always seemed to be. So she'll probably do just fine, wherever she goes. Maybe not perfectly right away, but she already knows how to recognize boundaries. She'd probably need some time to make a few mistakes along the way, but eventually she'll figure things out. At least that's what I wanted to believe. Again, similar to all the other kids, this is the same thought process he's going to have for every single one of them, and it's never going to go away. That thought process is never going to go away. Still, now that I think about it, this kind of impulsive act is rare for her. She must have gotten some weird fortune-telling result or something. That I kind of wonder. I kind of wonder if this is something that she's seen a long time ago, and then she's seen this as the point in which she's going to move, that she's seen this future, and then this is the point in which she was going to act. Again, playing into destiny. She's seen the destiny, now she's going to play into the destiny. Or is this, something that she literally seen while they were gone, and like, I have to go now. I have to move now. Why I think it's the latter, because again, if this thing, again, the fortune telling, if it is showing destiny, it's hard to move. And thus she has to move now. I don't really understand much about that fate divination magic that she had been studying, though. It was way out of my area of expertise. Even so, it feels like everyone left the nest now, doesn't it? Sophie's quiet words hung in the air. That's right. Lucy got married and went to the holy kingdom of Millis. Otis serves under Orsted, now travels the world with Aisha. Sieg became a knight in the King Dragon realm to help his best friend. Lily joined the Zenobia Trading Company, researching magic tools. She's nearby, but since she spends most of her time holed up in her workshop, she rarely comes home. I guess there's the answer to that whole thing. Like, I thought she was still living there. And now Chris has a job in the Oscar Kingdom, and she's probably getting married too. So, Lada left too, huh? That means there are no children left in the house anymore. The house feels kind of big now, doesn't it? At those words, we fell silent again. The sound of fire crackling. Outside, not even the wind was blowing. It was perfectly still. Even inside the house, it somehow felt empty. Just a little while ago, this house had been packed with people. To the point it felt cramped. And now, this few. I was about to ask, what about Lily and Zenith? Lily and Zenith are probably upstairs. But even counting them, that makes 6 people. Yeah, and I kind of wonder how much longer Zenith's going to be alive. Doesn't she pass away first, ? I forget if they mention how long Lilia is around. But even counting them, that makes 6 people. That's funny because the fact that, yes, technically having your parents now living with you or whatever, now being the caretaker of your parents as they get older, and then you have like, yes, technically 3 wives, is like, this is still a packed house. Like, it's still a packed house. Most people live like alone or with just a one wife and then possibly an elderly mother or something like that. It really does feel a little lonely. So, what should I do now? I didn't technically think about that one. Like, Sylphie, this was like her thing. Is she gonna have to find something else to do with her life? Sylphie murmured softly again. Those words, what should I do now, were probably something only she would say. I'm still constantly traveling around the world as one of Orsa's subordinates. Edis often comes along with me as my bodyguard. Sometimes she teaches swordsmanship to the Rudo Mercenary Corps. Roxy is a teacher. Lately, she'd been boasting about having gained a position like a head teacher. Cool. While everyone else was busy moving on, Sylphie devoted herself entirely to raising the children. Basically, she was the one who stayed home. But again, Lada was like an adult at that point. It's not like she had to sit there and take care of her on a constant basis. Most of Sylphie's time right now was probably devoted to just kind of keeping the house in order. It's not like she was like like having to like carry Lada around and quiet her and hush her because she just spilt her milk. Lada was an adult at this point. There was like no really taking care of her at that point. My point is that I would assume that Sylphie would have come to this understanding a long time ago. Like, again, their children are all adults all at this point. She's not rearing these children anymore. And now the children are gone, she probably feels a bit at a loss. Is there something you want to do? Nothing comes to mind, really. I feel like there's a few things I wanted to try, but for now, I'll keep helping around the house. Lilia's getting older, though she'd get mad if she heard me say that. But I can't leave everything to her. Technically, yeah, that makes sense. That you would go from taking care of the children to, taking care of the parents. Parents take care of you until the point that you can take care of yourself, and then you start taking care of them. I really appreciate that, Sylphie. The kids had already stopped needing much care years ago. Yeah, there you go. Knowing Sylphie, once she has some free time, she'll find something new to do. She seemed quiet and gentle, but she's actually pretty curious and energetic. Still, I see. I had children. Those children became independent. Some got married, and some had kids of their own. We've come that far already, huh? When I think about it, I really have come a long, long way. When I was reborn in this world and decided to do my best this time, I never imagined things would turn out like this. No, back then, I did think I'd manage somehow, but reality turned out differently from what I had imagined. This is kind of cool. Like this, I haven't read the rest of this yet, but this is already feeling like a much better and fulfilling ending than 26 was. Like, again, like for those that missed my, final volume coverage, I wasn't like too impressed by the final volume of Mushoku Tensei. Like, I felt like it just kind of just jumped forward, jumped back from forward again, then just jumped to the end, and then jumped way back to the beginning. It just felt like all over the place. This feels more like a complete ending for Rui's story just because it is, I grew up, I had a family, and the family moved on, and this is the later points of it. My point is that for a lot of people, I think most people's feeling of like the accomplishment of life is to have children, raise them, and send them out. That's your platinum trophy. Some things went well, some didn't. Sometimes things went conveniently for me, sometimes they didn't. There were times I was forgiven for things that shouldn't have been forgiven, and times I wasn't forgiven for things I thought should be. Each time, I did my best, over and over, worked hard, slacked off here or there, and before I knew it, this is where I ended up. 3 wives, 6 children, caring for my parents, working hard at my job. If the old me saw this, he might think, that's kind of lame. He might say, you could have done more. But I'm satisfied. I studied, traveled, made friends, created things, researched, fell in love, got married, raised children, worked, fought, won, lost again, and gained once more. And as I did, little by little, all sorts of things around me grew and accumulated. And now, here I am. Again, this is such a better conclusion. This is a great little reflection point right here. I thought it would be funny if he actually said, like, I fell in love, got married, raised children, got married, raised children, got married, worked, fought, got married, bumped out more kids. I never thought I'd be able to live properly as a person. I did intend to live seriously, but I had no idea what that actually meant or how to do it. And yet, somehow, I managed. It's always first steps. It's always first steps. You don't know what you can really do until you finally go and do it and accomplish it. No, maybe it's not over yet. Now that the kids have grown and I have some freedom again, maybe I can start something new. Rudius, like, these kids were keeping you burdened at all. Like, again, like all these side chapters, like, wow, how much time do you actually spend with them? Like, it's not like your books are open suddenly, Rudius. Maybe I should do something new too. You too, Rudy? Then let's do it together. What should we do? Ah, me too. Let me join in. Of course, I'm in. Surrounded by the 3 of them, pressing close to me, I started to think, what should I do next? This time, not something I have to do, but something I want to do. Wait, what before were you doing that is something you have to do? Like implying that you didn't want to do it? Like raising your kids? Now that I don't have to raise kids anymore, something I have to do, I could do something I want to do. Like, you didn't want to do that before? I don't really have any particular desires left, but just maybe, if I start... Technically, he's probably talking about the whole thing with Orsted the Man God, something that he has to do. I'm going to hope that's what he's talking about. I'm going to hope that's... But again, he's still doing that. It's not like he can't not do that anymore. He's still working on that. It's so bad that I immediately think of negative with Rudius anymore. These side chapters have been so bad for him. I don't really have any particular desires left, but just maybe, if I start something new, maybe it'll turn out to be fun. My assumption right here would be take your girls and go dungeon diving, dude. Take your girls and go dungeon diving. I was talking about that before with like hell or whatever, that labyrinth up there in the Divine Continent or something like that. Take on a nasty one. My life will go on a little while longer. I don't know how many more years I got, but just like always, I'll keep doing my best. Good. Then, if I do that, maybe next time, I'll truly be able to die fully satisfied. Mushoku Tensei. Redundancy. The end. And that is the last one to leave the nest. Oh my gosh, that's a good end, dude. That was a good end. I like that ending. My gosh. I wasn't expecting to get into Lada. Like, again, I seen the last one to leave the nest, and it was getting into Chris, and I'm like, oh, so it's Chris, and maybe potentially not explained, just it's off the side somewhere, just, it happened, and we're not going to ask questions. Lada and Lily went off somewhere else. But this one's implying that Lada was the last one. It's literally saying that Lada was the one. Again, even though it does imply the fact that Lily is still living with them, she's coming back. It's just that she's working so often that she's not coming back home. So it's not like they actually all left the nest. So I don't know. But anyways, what an interesting volume overall, or at least story overall. Again, I have my misgivings around how Chris's story was portrayed because I want more. It sucks when you're like, it's not that I find fault in the story, it's just that I want more. I want more. I wanted to see how Chris got to that point. She became this person that I think personally is really awesome. Like, she's turned into a really good person that wants to change things, wants to change a society with, Ariel, break down the norms that are in the Ashra Kingdom that seemingly it seems like Ariel wants to do. And wants to be involved with that stuff. People that are being exploited by people of higher power and that kind of stuff. It doesn't really necessarily say exactly what she wants to change and what Ariel is trying to change, but we assume it's the things that Ariel was getting into before she even got into the throne. But she turned into a cool character. I will admit that, yes, it's the usual refuge and cheese here. We got this whole thing as sort of portrayed around the villainous concept, is playing off the villainous tropes, but that doesn't necessarily take away from it, but it was a cool little story to kind of tell where Chris ends up going. But I will say, truthfully enough, I think this last chapter was my favorite. I know I have a thing for Lada. I think Lada is a great character. I'm surprised we haven't had a full-on story about her yet. It puzzles me with how much it seems like she's a popular character, and she seems like she has a lot that can be going with her characters. A lot it's already been built up. Like, literally, the mainline series was putting a lot of emphasis on her and her future, and all the other characters were not. There wasn't much implying with Lucy or Sieg or any of them they're going to be some sort of great thing that's going to do some accomplished thing. It was always focused on Lada. The only thing I can think of is that Lada's stuff is all built around whatever sequel he makes. Like, the sequel is going to be about Lada, and that's why he's literally not touched on her at all. He's done plenty with everybody else, just not her. But we'll have to wait and see. But I really did like this as a goodbye, because it feels like with all the other ones, with like Otis, with Sieg, with Lucy, all of them, the goodbyes are like in passing comments. Like, Lucy's goodbyes are really around passing comments. Oh yeah, she got married, by the way. Okay, cool. Would have loved to have seen that. They're all like very kind of waved away. Like, yeah, they're gone. So they left. They don't feel like goodbyes. Lada's felt like a goodbye. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that they each gave her something. They had like their own little gifts they give her, which pretty much turns her into a combination of Roxy and Rudius with the staff, the hat, and the coat. It's super sweet. It's super sweet. But anyways, that all comes down to, I have to rate it. I forgot I have to rate this one. Shoot. A. I think I'm very comfortable with an A. And I say that because I think that overall, while there was points where it felt like it was redredging up, stuff that was, brought up in Sieg's story, which Refuge is not wanting to assume that people read Jobless Oblige, so he has to explain the stuff again. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of repeated. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of a little bit overly built up. but I think it's a really solid story for Chris's future. Even though, like I said before, I'd like more, it's still well told. It still like presents the story very well. And again, I really do love that final chapter, which is around not just Lada leaving, but again, a better feeling conclusion chapter to Rui's story. If that last chapter was in like the final pages of volume 26, that would have felt really good. That would have felt really, really good. So I'm going to give it an A. And that's the last one to leave the nest. I hope you guys enjoyed this run through of this storyline. Again, we'll probably get into, I think there's like the Christmas chapters or something like that next. We'll see. We'll see as usual. If there's not much to get around with the Christmas chapters, I might do part of those and then go into ODT right after that. But again, it depends on what folks tell me. The people that I trust, the chat, you don't have to say anything. I like every single time I say that, I'm going to go talk to the people I trust and they'll tell me where to go next. I have like 15 people saying, I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you what to do. It's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, though. I thank everybody. I thank everybody for their support and everything. That means a lot to me. But yes, I greatly appreciate you guys' support coming along with me on this journey through these stories, especially since these have been, again, new for a lot of people. And I think that's been a lot of fun as well, as I no longer have to worry about, spoilers for the most part, because there's a very few people that are following now that are actually in the know about what actually happens. So it's been some fun stuff. It's been really, really fun. But more importantly, I greatly appreciate everybody that supports channel monetarily through Patreon, tips, links, super thanks, memberships, all that stuff. Thank you guys so much for your long time support. And again, come along with me in this journey. But until the next Mushoku Monday, y'all take care. As I thought that and looked at the other three, so much so that before we knew it, she became a lazy, fortune-telling, loving, mystery shut-in type. Mysterious. She became a lazy, fortune-telling, loving, mysterious shut-in type. Make him interested. Make him interested. Make him interested. Interested.